Okay, and this is what that looks like. When you set a poll, you can select either multiple choice or yes or no. My first question was the yes or no choice, and the second was the multiple choice. Okay, so now the other option that you'll see is the timer feature. So I'm basically just going down the share content menu screen. First we went over the whiteboard, then we shared the application. I showed you where to upload a PowerPoint file, the polling feature, we have a timer feature, and then you have breakout rooms, which we'll do in just a few minutes. So you can utilize your timer. If you decide to host a live lecture for 2 hours and 40 minutes, you definitely want to give your students a break. So you can post 15 minutes on the timer, as you can see outlined in red below. That's where your timer will count down. You can tell students return from break in 15 minutes or 10 minutes, or you can use the timer to give students a reflection time. Or question, you can ask your class, if you're writing a message on Twitter, what is the maximum number of characters that you can use, right? And then say, okay, you have 5 minutes, and then post your answers in the chat. And for some reason, you can't see the timer right now, and I can't see this timer right now either, and I'm assuming this is probably one of those tools that Blackboard has disabled to reduce the server space, because it is not showing up for me, unfortunately. But it will appear right under the polling feature. And it displays here. So once we receive a word back, I logged into Behind Blackboard this morning to receive a full report of which features they have disabled, and they do not have them posted for us. So I know, it's crazy, right? So as soon as Blackboard gives us the list of tools that have, or features that have been disabled as they advise, we will definitely share that with faculty ASAP, because as you can see right now, I don't have access to the timer and I wasn't aware. So, during this time, we really have to be patient with ourselves, with the technology, and with each other, because otherwise it can be more stressful than it has to be, or than it already is, right? So I can't fully demonstrate the timer as I was going to do. I was going to give you guys 2 minutes to type your answers on the chat. So we'll do this just kind of briefly. We're going to pretend that we have the timer displayed, and go ahead just for fun and type in the chat, the answer to my question, were you able to find toilet tissue at your local store? If so, which one? And you don't have to, but it would have been a little fun tool had the timer been able to work in this session today, given our recent toilet paper shortage. Costco, great. Yeah, I went shopping prior to the hustle as well. I had to pick my son up from campus in Champaign this past weekend, and we stopped at a Family Dollar, and I grabbed some tissue for my sister and mom because they didn't have any locally, but I was able to find some in Champaign, so that was a plus. But you get the point. If the timer feature was enabled, this is a quick way you can use the timer tool to engage with your students. Again, the key is you don't just want to host a live lecture and leave your students to zone out and not retain the information. All right. So the next feature is the breakout groups. If you were in your face-to-face class, you at some point may have your students break off into groups to discuss a group project, or to discuss a case study, or solve a problem of some sort, or just to discuss the topic and then have them present as a group, right? You can do the same thing using Collaborate Ultra. Again, you won't see the ability to enable this right now, but you can engage in breakout groups. As the moderator, I have the ability to join a group. So you can pop into each group. You can utilize your audio within each group. Okay, so we have concluded the breakout groups. We do encourage that you run a trial session with either yourself, a colleague. Offer your students to join a Collaborate session for extra credit just to play around. We highly encourage faculty to do a few trial runs. That will take the pressure off before you're ready to host a live session. It gives you and your students an opportunity to make sure you can access the tool and make sure you can find your way around the chat and things like that. So you definitely need to have a practice run. Lastly, Collaborate Ultra is mobile compatible. So you can download the Blackboard Collaborate Instructor app and direct your students to access the Collaborate Student app. We do have those tutorials on our website. You do have limited capabilities as the instructor when using so wherever possible, as the instructor or the moderator, we do recommend that you use a PC or laptop. If you want to join via mobile as a supplement, you can, but you do have limited capabilities on a mobile device. So if some of you are joining via, a mobile device, it could have affected some of your tools in the breakout room, but it shouldn't. These are mostly for your, no application sharing. You can share a file, but you can't share an actual application. Any questions? We are opening the floor for questions regarding Collaborate. I do understand that you may have other questions regarding all things Blackboard, but for the sake of the recording and this session, we do have to reserve the questions for Collaborate. We will have a series of open sessions this week on an ongoing basis for you to drop in and answer your, to ask your general questions. You can always email us with your questions, submit a request for a one-on-one session with a member of our team, as well as submit your Blackboard concern or question using our issue form, which are found on our website. In the email that we send for our workshop announcements, there is a link to our website. There is a link to our form to contact us. So you should always be able to reach us. Always check. You can check our website as well as the signature of any of our emails.